All righty, looks like we're here. Retirement is underrated. You are first here. Ron Carell, I think you're number three, boss. A squared, how you doing, boss? I My bath was bad on that comment, boss. I seen it said 6 days left, so I started counting from when that email come in or that comment, and that's why I was so screwed up because I'd already had you down for this month. But I appreciate you letting me know. I've already hollered at people two or three times before on you. Little Klondike outdoors. How you doing, boss? I was late. I was a minute late clocking in. I had to get my pay docked. I've been busy outside today. It rained Monday and Tuesday. Just little spitting showers off and on all day. Uh, so I really wasn't able to get out and watch. I had to go to the gym to do my walking and stuff. Oh, I forgot to ask. Can you hear me okay? I have a kind of a janky setup, so it's I'm never sure. Tonight I'd actually got on and set it up and done a dummy test, so I know it worked. But sometimes stuff comes unplugged on me. But that's good in retirement. Ice 199. I haven't seen you before. Your retirement math is broke. I So I started on that daggone foundation today. Last week we went and got the paint and I cleaned it off, washed it down and everything. And then the rain come in over the weekend. So I didn't get finished with it today. I got one coat on most of it. I'll finish it up tomorrow. Coming in loud and clear in Rock Hill. How you doing, Brad? Usually my third Thursdays at the VFW meeting, but we finished up early tonight. Oh, okay, Cole. I didn't know that. You still calling bingo there? Tomorrow, 10:17, I'm a free man. That's right. There was Andy Griffith played in a movie like that. And that was his song to start out with. He played in there with that lady that played in From Here to Eternity. Can't think of what her name was. I never cared for her. She played in a John Wayne movie too. But I'm gonna be a free man in the morning. Lonesome Roads, that was the name of it. Have not worked bingo for JMP, how you doing? Y'all just have a meeting up there on Thursdays, Cole? But so yeah, I did that, and then today. I don't start my day till after I take my walk. That signals the start of my day. But so that was pretty much all I did. Do that, and me and the baby run around town a little bit, and well, we had to go to the dollar store, pick something up. What was it I had to pick up? Oh, paintbrushes for it. Get cheap paintbrushes for doing that cinder block around the house because you got to jab at it and everything else. Make sure you get everything covered. I don't want to ruin a good brush, so we'll do that, and then I'm hopefully next week I'll be able to get on that porch. I got the paint for that too, and it's stained. So, but we'll see. I don't know. Sandwich shop. Be home soon. I didn't forget this time. Go slow, Buzz. You want another $250 ticket. You're just now getting back from fishing. Must have caught off good after you cut off your video. I got a kick out of that video because I made a whole video of me earlier this summer catching fish, and that's all the bigger they were, Buzz. So, but I never did post it. Just little short videos of me reeling them in. I had to piece it together, so it was. I think it lasted about 8 minutes or something like that. Elton, how you doing, buddy? I You just put out a video, Elton, about your last paycheck, but the video, the thumbnail looked like you were still sitting at a desk. So I wasn't sure if that was an old one. It said it just come out. Second Thursday is a regular meeting. Oh, it's a different subgroup. Oh, okay. Okay. Danny, oh, all right, Danny. How you doing, buddy? But oh yeah, speaking of thumbnails, that one I put out about doing nothing in retirement, my week. I made that on here. I seen a guy on here making an AI picture. Uh, and I said, man, he did it with Google AI, I believe it is. I said, man, that looks pretty easy. So I put that one in there. That's one of my I'd put on there about, I think it's on my homepage. Me standing there with that hat on, them shorts, and uh, with them homemade white beaters. And that's the one I used and just made it do that. It didn't take me 2 minutes, and I can't hardly turn a computer on. That stuff's easy, man. It's going to take over the world, boss. Hello, Martin Cagle. Old one, okay. Been raining and in the 50s here, northwest Wisconsin. Yeah, it dropped into the 50s. Well, it was in the 40s last night. This morning when I got up, it's supposed to be tonight too, about 41 or so. They say a little bit west of Richmond, it could be a chance of frost, first frost of the year. But not it ain't gonna get that cold here. But it has been raining quite a bit. Our boss lady's calling me to go eat. Okay, Cole. We just finished. We had breakfast again tonight. We have a kiss. How you doing, buddy? Glad to see you on here, man. Our leaves are at peak. No kidding. Ours are just now turning. You can see it a little bit driving down the highway. Oh, the western part of the state. I usually go on there's a webcam on here for Shenandoah National Park. I usually go on there and check out, but the daggone government shut down, so they shut the webcams down. And every week, I think it's every week on a Thursday, they have their own channel on here on YouTube, and they have some rangers showing you around and telling you what's peaking and everything now. But they shut that down too. Great to make your live. Well, it's great to have you, boss. I really do appreciate it, man. You seeing your name really means a lot to me on here, buddy. Comments or otherwise. You're welcome. So, but yeah, well, when I made that, I screwed up making that daggone thumbnail because now I'm getting junk people trying to help me make thumbnails. You know, you get these emails all the time. If you got a channel and it's active, wanting to help you with your SEO and making thumbnails to drive more traffic to your channel. Now I'm getting a bunch of people wanting to help me do that. If they knew how little I cared about it, they go straight to my spam folder. But I have to check that every day because sometimes somebody actually on here will send me an email. Howdy, Alton. So I getting junk mail from men, and I got one earlier today. Somebody wanting to increase my views and subs and all that junk by using that search engine optimization stuff. You know, you would think they would take one look at the video or two videos and they'd realize it's not a thing here. Leaves here in Western North Carolina are getting fruity pebbles like a couple more weeks. They will be amazing. Well, that's good. every year I want to take a drive down Skyline Drive, but we never seem to make it. Um, but after this weekend, one of my little ladies is out of town. She's supposed to come back home on the 19th. See if I can get the baby in there running up yonder and checking things out. But it's just like daggone, because we ain't that far from Skyline Drive. Maybe an hour and a half, something like that. And but it's just like daggone Apple Blossom Festival up in DC. I'd like to go see that. I've wanted to for a few years. We just ain't never run up yonder. It doesn't mean enough to us, you know. Plus, I can see it on here anytime I want to. So, Dennis Dixon, how you doing, boss? What was the deciding factor that made you or your wife retire? I just, man, I was just fed up and tired. I was tired, man. You know, I don't know. I was thinking about it before COVID hit, and once that come in and some of the rules and stuff they implemented, it, it kind of got to me. And then they changed the bosses around. All our bosses were brand new. I think the last year or two I was there, was two or three different sets of boss people there, and it just, I didn't need the hassle. Once I found out I didn't need the hassle, I was still planning on working till I was 60. But I don't know what it was on that that April day, but something must have happened. And I said, man, forget this. I just no longer wanted to. Can't relate to being tired. I bet. We're the couple day holiday. Yeah. Couple day holiday money. What holiday? Columbus Day. I don't think we got that. Did we get that? I don't think we did. New young bosses are, well, you fill in the words. Yeah, yeah. And the kicker is, it's the last one I had. We got a big plant coming up over here. It's a Lego plant. They're making Legos there. And she said she was going to quit over yonder and go to work there when it opened. Well, it's open now, but Cole was telling me she will move down the other end of the plant, and our old boss come back. They had put her over in the main office building, and she come back. But she wasn't about much. That new lady that we had, that last one, she really wasn't, and she didn't care. She didn't mess with you, but she didn't know anything about what she was doing, and it was hard to get any kind of help from her for her to understand. How's that? It was bad. It wasn't a good place to be. And the kicker is too is that I had worked myself into a daylight job, and I had it for about a year, maybe a year and a half. I figured I'd ride that out till I retired. But for some reason they took some people away from daylight, and they wanted to jerk things around. I told them it weren't going to work. They wanted There was two people that worked in my little room where we had a lot of GCs and spectrometers and stuff in there. And there was two different people in there because they had two different types of jobs actually, and they was going to combine that. I said, man, ain't no way that's going to work, man. Because one of my partner, while I was over there, he'd gotten injured and he was out for a month or better. And I worked it. I worked both sides, but I was overtime. I'd go in a couple hours early and stay a couple hours late every day. And I told them there's just no way. And they said, we'll get it to work. It's okay. I mean, it just didn't. I mean, if I'm working a job, I know whether one person can do it or not. But I mean, if they took some jobs off of them, it would have worked. But they didn't. So they ended up having to go back to two people working a job, and I had to go back to shift. Well, I was on shift, and that's what finally made me call it quits. I didn't have to be there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, man, forget this mess. Then we had another guy. He didn't call in 2 days my last year, and so I got hung in there and had to work for him. In the other place, that's AOL, man, AWOL, and they're gonna AWOL. They'd fire you. That Strength Factor would have fired him for that, but they let it happen. And there ain't no call for that mess, man. I don't want to beat it no more than anybody else, but that dog, if I'm going to call in, not call in, ain't no call for it because everybody's got a daggone phone on their hip. That really ticked me off. So I had a lot of problems. I forget what day it is. That's right. That's right. I never forgot the day of the week, but I always forgot the date. We always had a big calendar on the daggone wall, so I'd have to look it up. We had to sign everything and date everything. I'm 55, plan on retiring 57. Been watching your videos and learn on planning things out. It helped me a lot, to that, especially that last year, because I split it up into quarters. And I tackled one of the major issues each quarter. That first quarter, I think was my money. Make sure I could get, or how I could get my distribution. One quarter was health insurance. I checked into all the different possibilities for that stuff. And that gave me plenty of time, 3 months to figure things out. Just curious, based on your videos, I know you're not a stock trader, but how close do you? Very little. I check it every morning just to see, because right now I was in the S&P 500 fund. Once I rolled into a Roth, I put it in or I rolled my 401 into a regular IRA, traditional, and I had some money that was after tax. So that went in Roth. But I put it in a total stock market index, Dow Total Stock Market, I think is what it's called, with Fidelity. So now I'm more closely aligned with the Dow. So I just check to see whether the pre-market says it's going up or going down. And I might check in the afternoon after it closes. Just to have an idea which way the wind's blowing. Other than that, I don't, no. No. And well, I mean, I'm set up the way I want to be, and it pretty much, I just let it ride. Now I hear the news that the market, like in April when it tanked like it did, I knew it was going on. I was following it every day. I was waiting. I had some money on the side I wanted to put in if it got to where I wanted it to, and it did. So tough working with new bosses that don't have the management or people skills. Young bucks is what I call them. Yeah. And she was younger than me. Not much, I don't reckon. I ain't that old. But I tell you, the people I really hated working for was retired military. I really hated working for them because if they were fresh out, because they were used to telling somebody doing something and they had to do it. It don't work that right way in the real world, boss. We had a boy at the string factory. He was from the Navy. He kept calling everything decks because you'd have to run up the third floor to do something or whatever. And he said, go up to the third deck and do this. There was a guy there at work one time said, man, we don't have any decks, man. This ain't no boat. I'm watching my $10, Steve. We check the market in the morning, like you said, just see what. Yeah, that's all I do, man. Now I got some money in the credit union. I want to do something with it. I want to close that credit union out. But so I'm kind of wondering what I'm going to do with it. I got a brokerage account. I might just stick it in there. I'm not real sure, but I'm probably not going to do anything till February, next February when we go for our 6-month meeting. Sorry about Ace Miss Grady's fan. Ace. Oh, okay. That's a good fund. I invested in S&P fund. Yeah, it has. Yeah, yeah. Well, I was real happy with the S&P fund. I, I got one individual stock, I think. Years ago, I started buying BP back before they had their disaster out in the Gulf. I wanted to have some money working for me that wasn't locked up like a 401 or IRA, and I invested in strong funds years ago when the kids were little, and they ended up closing down. I believe something happened to them. I don't remember what it was, and so I started buying shares in Cisco, and then I started buying shares in BP. I had to sell all my shares in Cisco for my daughter took a summer school class because the way it works in with her school, she had at college, she worked 4 years, she go to school for 4 years, then she had to go another semester for one class or something like that. And I said, ain't no need staying there that daggone long for it, man. So one year she come home for summer and uh, down at the local junior community college, she took that class. So I took that money and paid for that. I agree with you. I had a boss that was an Air Force pilot that flew F-16s. Wow. No. Well, I did have there was a there was a lady. I don't know if she was a colonel or a major or what she was, but she was a big wheel over at Fort Lee. Now that's been decades ago. And she come in there and she run down her list of achievements and accomplishments and stuff. And but she wasn't that bad. But that one guy was. He was a young boy too. It wasn't that he hadn't retired. He was used to the military way. Dad used to say that they used to tell him the army way was the best way. SLI is hot stock, huh? I don't know what that would be. I don't know. I'm trying to think back to one of your videos, and I can't remember what it is. I know you do a lot for your local power company. I think it is, or local bank here. Hmm. Well, how much longer you think before they do before the fishing takes off there at that little creek you got there? You know, I'd take you guys up to the daggone falls up here at Richmond, the fall line. A lot of rapids up in there. They have they actually have kayaking and stuff area up there. That's the reason a lot of the growth happened from the falls down this way back in the day because they couldn't portage around the daggone they'd have to portage around the daggone fall line up yonder. We had a man that was ex-Navy. He never adapted to. Yeah. Commander. It was me, pretty much. They, I mean, they were okay people. It's just that they knew how to give orders, but they didn't know how to work personnel. How's that? You know, because we had one boy. He's a guy from California. Actually, he moved out here. He was just a flunky like me, and the boss man took him to the back of the plant. We were slow. He showed him some stuff he wanted him to do, and and you had to go by the break room to get to the boss's office, the foreman's office. And so he come by the door going back to his office, and that guy was sitting in there. He said, man, I done told you what all I wanted you to do. It's going to take you all shift to do it. He says, well, he said, I seen how much it was, and I knew I was going to have a break before I started. And that guy didn't like that at all. Oh, okay. The right way, the wrong way, and the Army way. Yeah, I've heard that, but I think Dad said the Dad told him that it was the Army way was the right way. But heck, man, I was a kid. I don't remember. I could be screwed it all up. Big rain coming Sunday, probably next Wednesday, Thursday, 10 pounds. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's right. Because your video said that it needs to be a little bit deeper than what you got. That was a nice sized fish you caught, boss. I caught bucket loads like that. I didn't get nothing hardly big this year. I didn't go that much. I was busy with stuff, and I just wasn't able to go like I normally do. He was a gentleman. He was in Korea, not like my boss. I said, oh, okay. It's refreshing to listen to a factory guy that got it right. I'm closely listening, hoping to do the same. Your storytelling is funny. Yeah. It's all true, boss. I think the only story I've told that wasn't true was the carjacking that wasn't. Me and the cat, the stray cat, that was true. The cops calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning, waking me up because my son, they wanted me to come get my son out of jail. And he was still in a crib. That's how little he was. That was true. My haircut, getting my haircut, that was true. They don't sound it, but they were all, but that, yeah, that carjacking, that was all made up. Something my truck did look at bad. Comes from McDonald's. I worked with a guy that was the same way. He wasn't, but his wife was. She wouldn't eat anything he caught in the river. And but she'd go to the seafood restaurant or buy it at a seafood store or whatever and eat it. It's the same daggone fish. Now for years, probably 30 years of butter. The Fish and Game or either the health department didn't want you to eat fish out the Appomattox there because of it being polluted. They'd poured some kind of chemical. I'd done a video about Hopewell, and it's called Keepone. It was I think it was a rat killer or some bull, but they poured the waste down into the river there, and it won't degrade. It stays in the river, and every time they have to daggone dredge the channel for them big ships, it kicks all that stuff up. But now they've taken the restrictions off now. But I've always eat out of it. Whatever I've caught and brought home. How's that? I don't bring a lot home. I'm still waiting for you to make the cigar box guitar. Oh, I made it already. I hadn't learned a lot on it. Same for the James Earl. Oh, okay. Hey, baby, how about bringing me that banjo? She's down the hall because she'll sit over there in the living room and she's watching TV. You can't hear a thing. Oh, yeah, I did a video about the build of it. So it was my first time, but it's gonna give me an idea whether I want to actually get one or not. An actual banjo. I just heard I was listening to some bluegrass earlier today. Patty Loveless. She sings great. Oh, thank you, babe. She's good to me. She don't say much. She won't get close to me either. My buddy on here wants to look at it. I made it upside down so I could store my pick and stuff in there. It's upside down for y'all, isn't it? There it is. Old stick I had at the piece of spare wood, trash wood I had out in the shed there. I got 3 sizes of these here, and I picked the biggest one. I don't know if you can still make a noise on it or not. I got I use a little tag like this. That's what I use it for my pick. It it's got good sound to it. It doesn't have too much of a tinny sound, but you can put some insulation in here, a piece of styrofoam, and cut around and put it on the inside of the lid here, and it'll deaden some of that tinniness on it. So, and I got the frets marked up here. Where I screwed up at is I put the this ridge here. I put my stick on top of it, so that makes my strings a little high, and this it'll hit that. This is top when I hit that ring there. So I'm going to have to use a slide on it and pick it like a steel guitar or whatever. Yeah, I'm going to love this wintertime. Baby already says I can't play it in the house no more. So I got it down the hall. I'll take it out to got a little heater out in the shed. I'll use sit out there and learn it. Ah, caught a lot of steelhead and smoked it. I've never caught a steelhead, and I told Buzz last year I was going to go up and catch him. See if he can't teach me what he knows. Try to catch him. Here's some free bird. Yeah, yeah. No, no. Heck, I barely even can spell banjo, much less free bird and all that other stuff. Dropped rabies pouches on the plane this week, and a lot of people complain about pets getting a hold of them. Probably they're in the river now. Huh. Have you ever learned the chords yet? Yeah. I have. Well, I can't say that I have, but I got a list. There's a fella on here that does. He give you I don't know, like the keys and the chords to songs. He'll play them on here. And it being a 3 string, it's not an actual 5 string or a 4 string banjo. It's a little different, but it's still turned GDG, I believe it is. GDG or DD? GDG, right. But so I just got a couple of his songs. I wrote down the numbers here and what chord it's supposed to be played on. So I'm able to do that. It'd be sitting on my lap, and I'll use that. I use an ink pen. My pocket knife won't work because it still gives a little um, ringing sound, but it still works pretty good. Just sit on my lap, play like a dobro or steel guitar. Mr. Bojangles, yeah, there you go. Do you know about lowering the strings to the fretboard? Glad you made it. Oh, no. Um, well, yeah, I guess I could because I bought a stock fretboard there, or not fretboard. Um, thing is, if I lowered it, if I lower the strings down, then they'll be riding on that piece of metal rim there. You have to have them up high. Next time I'll do it a little different so that it won't interfere with my hold down. 92, no kidding. You got the notes right, so happy you followed through. Yeah. Already played it, Buzz. What you doing? Eating? So yeah. Well, I'm excited to learn on it. I got I got a lot of stuff planned. It's just a matter of getting time to do it. I got to get that paint job done first with the foundation and the deck there, and I'm going to redo the railing out front on the porch too. I should be able to get that done in the next week or so, and then So we'll do that before I do anything big. Play it, yeah. Okay, Keith. I will one day. But I am not musically inclined. Be honest with you, I don't even know the name of songs or the singers. I just know what I like to listen to. So, but and the, I didn't tell the baby I was making it. She come out there, well, what are you doing there? And it just drove her nuts. First week or so, I had it in the house. I had to go back to the bedroom and play it. But hey, man, what are you gonna do, right? I ain't got nothing else to do. Aggravate her. First song I learned on the banjo was the theme song. Well, yeah, a lot of people do that one. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. So I was listening Pretty Polly earlier today from Patty Loveless and Bill Monroe. I think they gathered up together to sing out. I was listening to banjo on now, and there's a couple other ones I was listening to it on. It's just got a good ring to it. I like to hear the sound of it. Well, but them guys can play. I might prefer the bells like Grandpa Jones after that. Elvis could not read or write music. No kidding. Well, see, I can't either. Plans for garden all set? Yes. Yeah, yeah. Well, usually about February. It gets so cold. In about February, we have like garden shows and stuff around here. And you know, I know the winter's getting pretty over with, starting to won't be long I'll be able to plant. So that's when I really get excited about it and we go crazy. But I do think I'm going to expand it a little bit because I want to get my tomatoes out a little bit. I think I'm just going to put up two more beds against the side over yonder, extend it out this way. Because I made it like Tinker Toys. I can add a bed and take away a bed anytime I want. So that's what I'm going to do. It is because it's just a basic box with a daggone no bottom to it. So, but that's what I got plans on. And then I'll keep my squash and cukes and stuff up there in the bed. It's there now. And then beds up there. Hello from Concord, North Carolina. Harmonica, how you doing? Right, I'm talking about the expansion. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I really don't want to, but I wasn't. Just 2 years in a row, I ain't been happy with my tomatoes. Last year, I got plenty of good sized ones, but they no, I got good sized ones, but I didn't make a lot. This year, they didn't get real big. I don't believe is what it was. I got a lot of cherry tomatoes, but I didn't make that many. I didn't make that many either. Last year, I didn't make very many either. Is what it was, I believe. But I had 2 bad years in a row. And I don't know. I'm just assuming it ain't getting enough sun. I moved it over there because it gets more sun than where it was at. But for some reason they just didn't make them like I'm normally happy with. But a lot of it's because I just stick them in the ground and come back when they ripen and take them off. So have you gone out metal detector? Oh, you talking to Buzz? Use that organic fertilizer. Mhm. No, I use I probably got 10-year-old fertilizer out there I'm using, just a 10-10-10. It was over at mom and dad's in the that garage they had that roll up shed. And after he died, I brought the bag over here. And so I'm still using that. That's all I use. When I put a plant in the ground, I'll sprinkle a little bit around it, water it in, and then that's usually about all I do. You were talking to me? No, I haven't gone out metal detecting. I don't have a metal detector. I thought about it one time, but it's so hard to go around here. It's uh you can't go to one of the parks around here because they'll bust your butt for it. But I don't have no land. It's got my backyard here. It's hard to find a place that you can go. People allow you to go. You could probably, if I knew anybody lived out in Prince George, it's only about I don't know, probably 15, 20 minutes down the road down there. It's a lot of county out there, a lot of land out that way. But around here, it's real hard to find somewhere to go. Now, when my little lady lived over here, now they lived back there. It's about 20 or 25 acres they had. I could have went back there, but I didn't metal detect. So, but no, I haven't been. And, fish guts are good fertilizer. Yeah, I've tried that. Um, I think it was a fish emulsion or something like that. I seen on here. There's a girl down in Georgia or somewhere that was growing. I think it was collards. She put them down there. It comes in a liquid form. They pour down in the hole there. But I don't know, man. I guess if I wanted to, I could do a lot better. But I do good enough for what we got now, anyway. So I'm not really all that worried about it. It's just what I've always done. And years ago, I used to have one in the ground there where the sheds at, and that's where I used to have one in the ground. Used to have corn out there too, and don't really have enough room for watermelon and pumpkins. I like to do pumpkins just because I learned that I'd heard that you could take an ink pen and mark on it when it's little and scar it. And when it grows up, it'll be you can make a picture on there or whatever. I always thought it'd be pretty cool to write the kids' names on it. So when the pumpkin got big, it'd have their name spread out across it. So, but we just don't have the room for mess like that. And when you got a raised bed, they have two different varieties of most things. It's one of them's a bush variety, and the other one's a regular variety, like your cucumbers and stuff. The bush works better in a thing like that. One of my favorites from Bill Monroe's duo with Dolly Parton around 211. No kidding. Weren't Mules kind of blues, was it? She sang that. She did a pretty good job on it too. You'll use that fish cleaning table that you built. Yeah, well, I use it. I use it. Well, I use it quite a bit for the garden this year. I I didn't use it much for the daggone fish this year. I don't think I kept any. Maybe just a handful of fish, because I don't keep that many. Um, I probably should, but you got to clean them, and I sometimes I don't feel like it, and sometimes I do. So I'll wait till I feel like it before I keep any. So it don't take long. Uh, I skin the catfish and perch and brim and stuff like that. I just cut their heads off and scale, fry them up like that, and you rip their guts out like that. You having issues with moles in the yard with your garden? Yeah, from time to time. Uh, but they're coming from my neighbor's yards. That's where they're coming from, because you can see when I start having them, you can see the tunnel starting to encroach from over yonder. So I either just let them run their course, and eventually they leave me alone, and then uh, I don't have no trouble for a while. So it just depends. But this year I had a lot of trouble. A lot of mold tracks coming around. But I was actually looking at getting one of them traps, start killing some of them off. I could set them up. Well, not now because they're in the yard now. But I was gonna say I could set them up around the perimeter and catch them when they're straying. Do you or not in your garden? I have moles in my yard. I'm doing coffee grounds. That helps. Oh, okay. I usually don't fool with it because usually I don't have too much trouble. So I still just bring some. I had a. It was years ago when they come out with them little fishing games you could hold in your hand. I think I still got them in the attic. I'm sure they don't work no more. I need to get rid of a whole lot of junk. Be honest with you. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I seen on here there was a fellow on here that uses poison worms or whatever. You can get them in a pack and find out where they're at and put down in there. Be honest with you, I have more trouble with deer than I have trouble with moles. They because there's a doe had a couple of babies, and they would get out there behind the garden there and just run all over the place, and it looked like daggone you'd come through there with a daggone tiller tearing that ground up back yonder. Those and skunks. We have a lot of trouble with skunks. Uh, and there's a groundhog too. They'll they tear that ground up out yonder. Well, not so much for me, but they're bad around here. Wish I could turn on notification on view lives. Always messing me up with time difference. Yeah, I'm sure it does. I wonder. I don't know how to cut it on to where to give you a. It'll come up on your feed on there whenever you punch into YouTube. A lot of times it'll pull up a picture and it'll have coming soon or whatever, up next or whatever. I don't know how to cut that on. If I did, that would help too. How you doing out there, Angie? Pretty good. Uh, well, my little lady's out of town. That's where she's at, way out yonder. She's down in San Diego right now. She'll be home in a couple of days, about 2 days. That's where she's from. Oh, okay. That's probably something with YouTube. They always have trouble with that mess. Because I don't know if I ever get any notify button when I waiting for other people to go live. I have to look at it and see because I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, that's about it, I guess, man. I got that painting to finish off. Oh yeah. I got a bunch of daggone scrap wood out there. So I started building me a scrap wood holder made out of scrap wood. I got one board 2.5 feet long, one board's a foot long, stuff like that. I didn't do any. I think I did have to cut one board up into different sizes because I didn't have enough small ones. That thing is. You ever hear that tune? That children's rhyme. There once was a crooked man who walked a crooked mile, found a crooked sixpence, and so forth and so forth. But at the end of it says that they all lived in a crooked house. That's the way that thing looks. There's not a square joint in the whole thing. And I used that bucket of daggone rusty nails I got. I probably bent half of them nailing them in. It was a mess, Doc. But it holds the wood because I needed to hold. What I did was I used the tree as a frame for it, and I got 2 trees out there about 8 foot apart, and had to nail the holders to that because I ain't got enough room in that little shed for the scrap wood I got, and I need to clean that shed out, which is another thing I'll get done this fall. I like to do it in the fall and the spring, and so once I get that junk cleared out, then I'll have room to put that lumber back in there. So it's just a temporary thing. But I mean, that thing, good windstorm come up and it blow it all over the yard. Yeah, you were telling me about them rabbits. I had trouble with rabbits one year when it was in the ground over here, Kiss. And a boy at work told me to use dishwashing detergent and spray it on the leaves. Well, he didn't tell me you're supposed to dilute it. So I went out there and sprayed it on the leaves and everything fried. I mean, just dried it up in a heartbeat. So I had to pull everything out and redo everything that year. But since I got it in this raised bed, I mean, they're 3 foot off the ground, about 18 inches off the ground is what they are, chair height. I don't have no trouble with anything. Even the squirrels don't do anything. This time of year, a squirrel will bury a daggone acorn in there, though. But there was a crooked man and found a crooked sixpence. Right. Well, that's the way that daggone. When I was a kid, we always had a daggone wood table, just made out of scrap wood. And anytime we'd have extra wood at something, or we'd have scrap wood, we'd tear a fence up, we'd take the good pieces out, we'd throw it on that table. It was always stuck out behind the shed. When we first moved here, I always had me a table like that too. But um, eventually it collapsed, and so I just started sticking stuff in the shed. But I just ain't got enough room for it in the shed now. I got a pile of it from when they built this deck, and then I always have an extra board or two when I go buy stuff for doing something, and it's just piled up on me, and I just ain't got the room. So, and they all live together in a crooked little house. That's right, Rom. Did you build the shed yourself? No. The shed was Amish shed. They sell them right down the road down here. We just went down there and picked it up. I looked at building it at the time, but man, you couldn't. I mean, lumber's so expensive. I mean, it was going to be. It wasn't much difference in letting them build one and bring it here because it's free to drop it off because it's just down the road. Then and it saved me the trouble having to go out there and do it because it probably would have took me 6 years to build a shed. But we called that in. Now the floor out back, I did build that. The gazebo was come from Big Lots. It's a kit they had down there. But that floor, man, I mean, it's just a box. It's 12 foot by 12 foot box. So I mean, it wasn't like it was a hazardous duty or anything. It's not something I couldn't figure out. But I did build that. And that's what the baby used to call it when I first put it out there because we didn't have that gazebo over it. When I built a floor in the middle of the yard. New retirement project for you is to build a bigger shed. Yeah, well, I told Connie, I said, listen, baby, I said, I'm thinking about getting one of them, because I can put up an 8x8 shed, man, in no time. I could probably handle that. And, uh, and I was actually just thinking about putting a lean-to on the back of it. But we have setbacks we got to be from the neighbor's yard, so it won't go on the back. And I done built up over on this end of the shed, so I ain't got nowhere to stick a lean-to it. I said, but I told her I was thinking about building another shed or getting one, a little 8x8 one and sticking it out there. And she didn't like that idea. So that's the reason I use them trees out there for frame and just nailed some sticking out arms so I can lay boards across it. It's just temporary. And once I am able to stick it back in the shed there, I'll just tear it down. It's just old wood I had. And them old nails ain't gonna hold long. Some of them were about broken half when I was using them. Just try to get rid of them. I got a bucket full of them. I have not. Out near Syracuse, New York, there is a business selling sheds. Tough Shed makes for an interesting conversation. I was driving with my friend and I say, "Hey Sam, Tough Shed." Yeah, yeah. It was just easier for me to do it that way. It was easier, and it wasn't much difference between the prices at that time. We've had that shit for a while now, but wood's expensive, man. Now, well, it's come down, but I usually buy the cheapest thing I can, or usually use a piece of scrap wood for just about everything. So that's the way I do it. It's the way we always did it. We don't do it to save money. It's just the way we do things, man. It's like anything else. I mean, I live at the dollar store at Goodwill. You know, there's a lady on here called Your Rich Auntie, and she talks a lot about people going to the dollar store or the Goodwill or whatever. She says it's okay to try to save a few bucks, but she says don't know anybody that want to do that right on and on. Said she likes to have new clothes from time to time, and I can understand that. But for us, that's just the way it always was. So we don't know any different. It's not to say we don't go get new stuff. It's just our first inclination is run down to the Goodwill or the dollar store before we go anywhere else. Yard sale. Yard sales, big stuff on yard sales too. I got a pair of insulated coveralls from daggone yard sale years ago for $1. I thought they was gonna be busted. I thought the zipper or something gonna be busted on them. No, they were dirty, filthy. But that's all I use them for anyways, is working outside when it's cold out there. You have those guys. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're the exception. I think one of your first videos, Buzz, you were it's one of your old ones, I think, before you started your channel. You were replacing the shingles on your daggone shed or garage out back. I'm almost positive that was you. It might not have been, man. But I think that was yeah. But that's been a while though. Oh, David Thompson. Hope you're having a great night. I am, David. Okay. North Prince George. Oh, well, you be on this end then. Said they're expensive now. The Amish here in New Jersey go for 3 to 5. No kidding. I think ours was probably about 3 or 4 then. We got the next biggest one they had. I had to wait for it because it was what was on the lot. I think ours is a 10 by 20, 10 by 24, and they had a 12, I think, by 24. But what it was, I had an old shed. It was one of them old tin ones you can get used to get like Kmart or somewhere, 8 by 8 or 10 by 10 or whatever. It was my neighbor's down all the way down at the end of the street. We had a windstorm come up and blew it down. What it done, them more flimsy, thin tin things, but it blew the doors in and the wind got in and just picked it up and tossed it. And I needed a shed. So I seen that. I said, "Hey man, if you're gonna get rid of it, I'll take it like it is." So he laid the walls out and walked them flat for me because it was it was just like an old ball. And I went down there with a truck, had an old truck at the time, and drug it up here. And I would just put up the 4 sides. I had at that time I was hauling junk a lot, and there were some garage door rails, I think's what it was. And I drove them in the ground and bolted it to that. And and then you actually had wood shingles on the house when we first moved here, not shingles but shutters. And we tore them down because a fellow I was working for, he was getting rid of his shutters, and they were vinyl. And so I took mine off and put those up. And I used them shutters to frame out the doors and drilled a hole through them and run a chain across it and bolted it to that. So there's no way it's gonna blow them doors out of there. And then daggone garage door railings, I mean, they're probably 3 or 4 foot. I drove them in the ground. So it's gonna take a heck of a storm to blow it over. We had a hurricane, and we didn't get a tornado here. They got one over in Corona Heights, and Petersburg got it nailed bad pretty. Pocahontas Island really got tore up down there. They still ain't clean that up. That was years ago. But the wind ain't never that thing still standing there. I took it to the metal dealer. Here, every food with a flexible premium deferred annuity. Nope. Yeah. That's true story, boss. You like that beater car, huh? I heard Roy Clark one time talking about he had a motorcycle that looked like an X from the back. But yeah, that was I told that guy down there at the plant. It was when I was working at the daggone paper mill. I was telling the guy down there. He got to laughing. I really want a workshop after we move. Not as easy finding one as you move further out. Yeah, yeah. We got pretty good sized yards here. I could put a full garage back there and everything. Some of my neighbors down the street do. But problem with garages is most of them around here, nobody puts the cars in them. It's so full of junk. And that's what would happen to mine. That shed was empty when we bought it. Now it's full. So you just collect stuff over the years, man. And I'm going to tell you, I need everything out there. I don't, but and when Dad died, I got a bunch of his tools. Uh, so it collects over the years, and I'll probably never use half of that stuff again. So I'm going to have to get rid of it, and I really need to start getting rid of a bunch of junk. But I just hadn't got to that point yet. That shed, and when I clean it out this fall, it'll either be going to the junkyard or it'll be going to might have a yard sale next year or something. I don't know, but ended up building my own back in '96. Timber 20. About no kidding. Oh, oh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was just going to use daggone tin roof it. You know, when I was going to put one up, I was just going to put a tin roof on it. It doesn't take that many sheets of it. And I actually had thought about building a tar paper shack out back, just covering it with daggone tar paper. Back where Dad's from, there's a lot of places that were like that when I was a kid. It just had tar paper wrapped around the outside of it. And I think I had an uncle that had a garage like that. No, my granddad's garage was like that. He put up the shed and he just wrapped tar paper around it. So oh no, Laura Ingalls. You ever hear watch Little House on the Prairie? Well, she moved out to North Dakota or somewhere, and she had built her a daggone tar paper house out there. So there's a picture of it on the internet here. Her standing out front of it. It's just a little shack, but it's a cheap way to get it covered. You might do yours. I might. Yeah, you never have enough storage space. No, you don't. No, you don't. We moved in this house. It's 3 bedroom. We had a spare bedroom and a junk room, and now we still got a spare bedroom and junk room now, but it's full of stuff. But the baby uses the junk room for it's where she does the bills at and stuff, paperwork and junk back on it. We got a computer printer and scanner, and she's got her sewing box back there, sewing machine back there, and stuff like that. So it's kind of a little office like for her craft. Some of the craft stuff she's got back yonder too. So, but I mean, we had more room than we knew what to do with when we moved in. Now everything's something in every room. So, well, it's an hour later, boss. I've held y'all long enough. I ain't had nothing to say. I just if this is something that we can catch up with each other, see how y'all been doing. If you anything special you want to ask that I don't clear up on my videos or whatever, you can ask it on here and we'll get cleared up. And mainly just check in on y'all, see how everybody's making out. Like Angie, I'm glad she showed up. I hadn't heard from her in a while, and I know they're thinking about moving. Already gotten rid of a lot, but still get tough. Yeah, that's hard to do. It's real hard to do. There's a fella that lives in Hanover. I used to go up and help him from time to time. That's where I used to work in the goat pens and stuff up yonder, and greenhouse work, because he had a big greenhouse up yonder. He actually had three of them. He used to grow orchids. He was a hybridizer. He was actually like a master gardener for orchids and stuff. He just died. I think he said I think he was 97, I think. Probably 2, 3 months ago. But I think he had over 5,000 orchids up in them greenhouses. But from time to time, you'd have to, uh, he'd cover it with shade cloth, or he'd have to raise the roof on it, or whatever. And but he ended up leaving them things to I think it's Maymont Park where he left them to. They have gardens up there that you can drive through and stuff and visit. And they got a couple of buildings and stuff. So I think he left them all to them. Temp at night. Yeah, down in the 40s tonight. Last night too. But it's getting up in the 60s, low 60s here during the day. Um, and we might get low 70s. Probably getting the low 70s. Kind of alternates. Have a good night. My first live with you. See you guys on the next one. I appreciate it, Ice. You take care of yourself. Nice to hear from you, Angie. You have a good night. Tell your husband Steve says, hey. But y'all take care of yourselves, man. And I appreciate you showing up. I really do. And we'll talk to y'all later, I reckon. That's what Gomer used to say. Tell her Gomer says, hey. Y'all take care, man. We'll hit this button here and get off of here. And we'll talk to y'all sometime. Ding, ding.